Welcome back, folks. Today I am in the Crannberry Wilderness. I have a route of about 42 miles throughout the Crannberry Wilderness mapped out. I'll give you a closer look at the map here in a second. It is already 4:15. I have less than 1 hour of daylight. I'm gonna try to get a couple miles down the trail, and I think I know a good spot for a campsite from some videos I was watching. So that is the plan. It is starting to feel a little chilly. We're gonna have beautiful clear skies and mid-60s for the next couple days, but right around freezing at night. So it is gonna be a little bit brisk. The pack of choice for this trip is my brand new Nashville pack. This is a 30 liter. I'll just give you a quick rundown right now, and then I'll give you a better look at it when I get to camp. This is my duplex, my Z-Pack's duplex. I have it inside of my Neo Air X-Lite bag. I like to compress it a lot smaller. Filter, drone, rain skirt, bringing the chair. I even got my tripod. Got 2 medium-sized water bottles, my Garmin, and then I have my Light AF fanny pack strap on there to hold my camera. Yeah, I really like this pack. I haven't went backpacking with it yet, but it has these removable straps that it can also go on the Tiempo, and they're very comfortable. They feel more like a running vest style strap. So we'll give it a shot, and hopefully I can do a full review on this pack eventually. All right, here's a look at the map. I am here at the Three Forks Trailhead on the northwest side. Most people are starting over here at Big Beechy Trailhead or the north-south trailhead, but it was a closer drive from Ohio for me to come to here. So I'm going to be starting off with taking the Middle Fork Trail to the Big Beechy Trail, and I plan to camp there. I think there's a really nice campsite there that I saw on YouTube. I'll be taking Big Beechy tomorrow down to the Middle Fork, and then I think I'm going to take the Middle Fork back down the Laurely Branch Trail, and then I'll see how I feel. But what I think I'll end up doing is taking the north-south trail all the way back down, and then hop on this trail all the way back up. That will allow me to see a good chunk of the Crannberry Wilderness that I want to see. Obviously there's some more stuff up here in the north, and there's also some good stuff down in here. But if I can do all the highlighted sections, that'll give me a 42-mile route. Man, does it feel good to be back out on a backpacking trip. It has been a long time. And the Crannberry Wilderness has been on my radar for probably 3 or 4 years. But I've seen many videos of very muddy, sloppy, wet trails. And that never sounded very appealing to me. But the entire region, especially a lot of the national forests down here in the southeast, are in drought conditions. So it's very dry right now, and there's no rain in the forecast. So I thought this would be the perfect time to hit up the Crannberry Wilderness, and maybe I can just get through here without getting my feet wet. We'll see. I'm sure I'm going to have some river crossings eventually. I'm hopeful that I can rock hop across them. It's not the end of the world if I get my feet wet, but I have a feeling it's not going to be near as wet as it was for some of the other guys I watched on YouTube. Restless Outdoors, the Show Brothers, Frozen from Outdoor Ventures. Yeah, they had pretty miserable experiences down here. I know it won't be that bad for me, thank goodness. All right, let's get moving. Hoping to be setting up camp in about a half hour. Here's a little look at this beautiful river I'm going to be walking beside for quite a bit of this hike. Perfect. Looks like I can get over it if I need to by rock hopping. It looks clean and cold. I may have forgotten to mention how long I'm going to be out here. I have time to do 3 nights. I could even do a 4th, but I don't think I have enough food for that. I kind of just threw all my food together real quick in like 5 minutes. A bunch of leftovers from past trips. So hopefully I don't run out. But the plan right now is to spend at least 3 full days out here. and minimum 2 nights. That should be enough time for me to get around the 42-mile serpentine loop that I created on the map that I was showing you earlier. So that's kind of my plan. Somewhere just up ahead, there's going to be a campsite on the right. We're less than a mile from where I'm wanting to get to the intersection of Big Beechy. I do believe I have found camp for tonight. 2 different campsites right by this glorious waterfall. Oh man, it's perfect. It's almost too noisy. So let's walk down here and I'll show you the other one. So here's the first one. I mean, 50 feet away from the waterfall. There's another one right over here. Let's go check it out. Then here's campsite 2. Not too shabby. Not too many level spots for my tent. But I'm sure we can make it work. That waterfall is about 75 yards right over there beyond the campfire ring. It is getting dark very quickly. The sun has been down over the ridge tops for probably 45 minutes. It's already getting pretty cold. Feels like it's down to almost 40, probably 40, 45 right now. So this fire is going to feel good. Got here just in the nick of time, about 5 o'clock. Yeah, maybe about quarter after 5. And just enough time to get the tent set up and find a little firewood before dark. It'll be pitch black out here in a little bit. I hate this time change. Here we are at 5:40. And you basically are done for the day unless you want a night hike. And there's no way I'm going to go night hike in the Crannberry Wilderness since it's my first time here. The trails have no blazes so far that I've seen. Numerous river crossings. So yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. I have my fill of night hiking on the Sheltovie Trace. So I'm just going to keep this fire going for a little while and dig into the dinner bag here in a little bit and see what we got for supper. And then probably just go to bed early and get a good night's sleep and be ready to get on the trail bright and early as soon as the sun comes up. I had a half a bag of chicken pesto pasta from Peak Refuel. I'm going to polish that off and then use the bag for some buttery homestyle mashed potatoes, Idahoan. Good morning. Day 2 here in the Crannberry Wilderness. It was a cold night last night. I'll have to turn my phone on and see what the temperature was. But my guess is around freezing or even below. I woke up numerous times, a little on the chilly side, and eventually even had to pull my puffy into my quilt. And I just had it laying on top of me as an extra layer in there. And that seemed to help a little bit. Man, this 20-degree Revelation quilt from Enlightened Equipment, I'm definitely more comfortable in it when it's upper 30s and above. Lower 30s. I'm just a cold sleeper, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy some coffee this morning before packing up and getting on the trail. We're getting on the Big Beechy trail today. Taking it all the way to the east side to where the other trailheads are, and then hopping on the Middle Fork Trail to find camp for tonight. So that's kind of my plan today. Oh, hits the spot. It's currently 7 a.m. and I crawled into my tent at 7:30 p.m. last night. So I was in here for 11 and a half hours. Holy cow. This has been a long time since I've slept that long. I mean, I was probably up for an hour and a half of that, you know, throughout the night when I was cold, getting up to go to the bathroom once. And some crazy dreams woke me up, like right off the bat when I went to sleep. Probably wasn't even an hour into my sleep. I dreamt that bears were around my camp, and one of them just started plowing right into my tent. It just crawled right onto the top of my duplex and smashed it up against my face. And I was trying to yell, "Hey bear, hey, you know, get out of here bear," but I could not speak. No matter what I did, I could not speak, and I was trying to reach over. I brought my 380 with me. I know a 380 is just gonna probably piss a bear off more, but I feel better having a 380 with me since I don't have any bear spray. I was trying to reach over to grab my 380 and I couldn't move. I was being smashed and smothered by these a bear or multiple bears on my tent. It was horrible. And then then I had a second dream within minutes later, almost the same thing happening again, where I couldn't speak and I couldn't move to get my gun. Oh, that was terrible. I'm glad it wasn't an hour long dream. It just lasted like a minute. But I'm well rested and ready to roll. This is the top of that little mini waterfall. On today's menu for breakfast, good old reliable Mountain House breakfast skillet. I haven't had one of these in probably a year or two. I don't know, it's been a while. But in my haste of packing my food for this trip, I just grabbed like 4 dehydrated meals that I had laying around, and some ramen, some Cliff Bars, Snickers, they're not Snickers, Payday, and some fruit leather, mashed potatoes. Not much. So now that I've looked through my food bag a little closer, and I'm realizing that I'm not going to have enough to stay out here for 2 more nights, I don't think. Unless my third night is very close to my truck. So I think I'm just going to do about 25 miles out here. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how far I get today. I'm not going to be able to do that serpentine loop like I thought, unless I really push the miles. You know, I'm going to have less than 7 hours of daylight to hike today. So yeah, 20 miles is going to take most of that up. All right, I'm going to enjoy my breakfast skillet and get on the trail. Looks like I put just the right amount of water in. Perfect. You know, I've mentioned this in one of my other videos. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been on the Triple Crown. I can't remember. Virginia Triple Crown. I had one of the Peak Refuel breakfast skillets, and I think Mountain House breakfast skillets are better. The Peak Refuel breakfast skillet was lacking in salt bad, or something. It was just lacking something. This is one of Mountain House's better dehydrated, freeze-dried meals, if you ask me. Man, I feel like a lazy bum. I was on trail for an hour and a half last night, and then spent 11 and a half hours in my tent. Exact opposite of what it was on the Shelterway Trace, but I love it. This is exactly what I wanted and needed. The one plus to the cold is that there's no bugs. I can sit out here with all my gear just laying outside my tent as I'm getting ready to pack up. Haven't seen one spider. I'm liking that. Here we go, climbing the mountain of Big Beechy. I actually don't mind this though, it'll help warm me up a little bit. My feet are freezing. What a beautiful area. Big flowing stream. Lots of camping areas down there where I was staying. And now we have about 1,500 feet to 2,000 feet. Probably over the next mile, I'm guessing, I don't know. We're gonna go up, that's all I know. Currently about a mile into this Big Beechy climb, and I see the sun finally trying to make an appearance over the ridge up ahead. Let me give you a look at what this area looks like. You can see these huge mountains over here behind me. There's another trail that goes either on top of that or on the other side of it, the northernmost trail. I was hoping for some late fall leaves, but they are definitely all down except for the few random stragglers of oak and beech maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's pretty bare out here. Looks like I got a bunch of pines coming up. Hopefully the trail goes through there. I love walking through pines. Getting a little warm. Time to remove the cooey. I don't think the camera's picking it up well, but there's some blue sky out there. Looks like partly cloudy, partly sunny. And I think it's supposed to be mostly sunny today. Only 1 mile in, been climbing the whole time. And I actually just passed a water source back there about 100 yards ago. So I marked I put a waypoint on my Gaia app where that water source is, because I did not expect to see any water up here on this mountain. I didn't need any, but it's good to know it's here. And we're getting our first look at this full, glorious sun this morning. Oh, that feels good. It's definitely much warmer up here. Or at least the temperature has risen quite a bit already. At least 10 degrees, if not more. Wow, that is beautiful. About 2.6 miles in, and it looks like we're nearing the highest point here on Beachy. So calm and quiet up here. I can't hear anything. It's almost like we entered a different environment up here. All pines, lots of moss-coated rocks. Pretty nice. I mean, this trail looks like it's right out of a storybook. I feel like I'm entering Narnia or something. My gosh, this is gorgeous. Oh man. The forest floor is completely covered in moss, every square inch. Oh my goodness. That's magical. The trail's a little narrow through here. I feel like I'm walking through a Christmas tree forest. Lots of pines brushing up against me. Still very pretty. Now we just entered a rhododendron forest amongst the pines. Very faint trail through here. Oh gosh, and we got some blowdowns from time to time. All right, we're here at a little intersection of Big Beechy and the District Line Trail. And I believe the District Line Trail follows that other ridge that we saw earlier and actually comes out where I parked my truck at the Road 108 trailhead. I'm not sure what to call it. And I think we only have another mile down to Route 50. And then we'll be hopping on the Middle Fork. I think it's a Middle Fork trail. I hear a breeze coming. We'll hop on the Middle Fork trail and be following the river most of the day with lots of good camping options. Only the second campsite I've seen on Big Beechy. A couple spots for hammocks and tents. No water though. I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of rhododendron tunnels today. Feel like I'm hiking in Kentucky. Just about ready to finish up Big Beechy. Came across this campsite over here. Come and check this out. Man, this is gorgeous. Got that rock wall there, blocking the wind. A nice fire ring and all kinds of seats. Very nice. All right, just came down off a Big Beechy mountain. If I take a left, it goes down another quarter mile or half mile to the Big Beechy trailhead. I'm going that way to get on the Middle Fork trail. By the way, Big Beechy was exactly 7 miles long from where I camped this morning at the intersection of the Middle Fork and Big Beechy. So I thought it was only going to be 6, but 7's not too bad. But the sun is out in full force now, holy moly. And I'm on the hunt for a good place to cook lunch. All right, I just arrived to the Middle Fork Trail. Here at a little campsite. I'm gonna stop here and eat some lunch. And the junction is right up there, about 50 feet away. I'm gonna look at my notes real carefully to make sure this is the trail that I wanna be on. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be following a river most of the way, and there's multiple camping options along the Middle Fork. I don't think I wanna go to the north-south trail. I think that's what it's called. It turns into more of a gravel road. Yes, it follows a river and it has shelters, but I'd rather be deeper in the forest. You know, I don't want to stay at some shelter. Yeah, it'd be nice. A picnic table would be nice, but I don't really want to walk on a gravel road. So, yeah, we're gonna stop here and chill out, take a lunch break, and get right back on the trail. All right, on the menu for lunch. Basically ramen noodles with a different brand. I tried Sapporo Ichiban Original. And we're gonna throw some more buttery homestyle mashed potatoes in. If I take the Middle Fork Trail all the way back, that's the blue line, it's only 9 miles back to my truck. But what I could do, if I want to extend it, is when I get to this black trail here. I think it's the Laurely or something like that. I'll throw the correct name on the screen right now if I'm wrong. When I get to there, I can take that down to the north-south trail and then take it over to the Little Fork. And the Little Fork goes right back up to where my truck is and joins back up with the Middle Fork where I started. I mean, it's only noon right now. I only got 9 miles back to my truck. So I'll probably, look for a good campsite, maybe 4 or 5 miles down the trail. 6 at the most. I want to be setting up camp around 4 o'clock. Now that I haven't been hiking for 10 minutes, I realize how chilly it still is. It's probably 50 degrees at best, so it's a little chilly still. One thing I failed to mention is I was looking at CalTopo when I was at home at my desktop, and there on this Middle Fork trail that I'm getting ready to hit right now, if I recall correctly, there's 10 to 20 campsites on the water, right on the river. So I'm hoping I'm remembering that correctly, because I don't have CalTopo on my phone. I thought I did. It's a Venza Maps is what I have on my phone. I was getting confused. So unfortunately I don't have CalTopo, so I'm just going by memory. But when I scroll in real tight on the REI app, the hiking project, I can see the river. I can see the trail going right along the river. So pretty sure I'm on the right one, and I'm pretty confident that I heard the next trail further south, which is the north-south trail, is nice until you get to the end, until you get to the west side. And then it's almost non-existent. I believe part of it's an old forest road that you could drive on, because there's shelters all along there that are first come first serve, I believe, right on the river for fishermen. A lot of people will bike that section or hike in to go fishing. So yeah, I would like to see that, but maybe we'll save that one for another time. We're going to stick to the Middle Fork and hopefully get about 4, 5, 6 miles down this trail and start looking for a good camp. Originally I was going to go to the Bartram Trail in North Carolina and Georgia, or the Art Loeb Trail in North Carolina. I actually had shuttles lined up for the Bartram, which is about 120 miles. Franklin, North Carolina is the halfway point. I was even going to possibly stay at Chica and Sunsets. They had a room, which would be tomorrow night, was when I was hoping to be through there. However, there are burn bans all through that area. So that's why I did not go down there. I'm going to save those trails for another time when I can actually have fires, because I wanted to enjoy these trails and have a fire each night. I'm also glad I didn't go, because I'm feeling a little bit of foot pain in my left foot and my left knee still from the FKT. So it's probably good I didn't try to go through hike a 120-mile trail. This one's going to end up being like 20, maybe 25 miles tops, and I think that's probably about right for me at this point while I'm still healing. This is what I've been hiking beside for the last mile. This is exactly what I want beside my cabin someday. A babbling brook full of boulders. Man, that is nice. Wow, there's a beauty of a campsite right down there on the water in the pines. Very nice. I just noticed that we have completely clear blue skies. But the pines are so thick in here that I'm in full shade basically the entire time. So far, this trail is a cakewalk. There's been some rocky spots, but look at that. All downhill. Beautiful pines. Doesn't get much easier than this. So I was just looking at my Gaia app, and it does a pretty good job at showing established campsites. And I counted them along the Middle Fork Trail, and there's 7. So we should be in good shape for finding a good campsite here in a couple miles. campsite number 2. Nice pile of wood ready to go. But it's too early to stop. And you got a nice water source right here. Man, that's nice. Not much room in this one. This one's about 2.5 miles from the beginning, where the Middle Fork started, on the east side. Monongahela. 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 Woo! There's that 60-degree sun I've been waiting on. My goodness. That is fantastic. Wow, that's a beauty. 3.2 miles in. Right there's the fire pit. Another nice one 100 yards further up the trail, and this one's actually marked on Gaia. That's fantastic. A little easier access. Great, great view across the river there. It's almost like a little island between two parts of the river. Wow. If this was about another hour down trail, 2 or 3 miles further, I'd be stopping. Just too early. I'm only like 3.3 miles in or something. I want to get 5 or 6 at least. All right, let's keep on going. Another campsite exactly 4 miles in. Pretty nice too. Oh, there's the fire pit. I'm sure you can tell by now that I love finding campsites. Gaia shows 5 more coming before the split in the trail. So I'm gonna shoot for one of those last 2 or 3. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. I'm just glad it's not raging. I'm sure I can get across somewhere. I was looking down there just a second ago. This rock's just a little far apart and very slick. So I might go for right there. Too big of a leap right there on the big rocks. Not bad. A little cold and dark right here. But nice water source. That's right here by the big water crossing I just went over. So I've been in the shadow of the mountain for quite some time. It's very cool. But I can see up ahead here. We're coming around and making a turn around this ridge, and I can see the sun's gonna show itself again. So that's what I've been waiting for. I didn't want to pick a site out in a dark, dingy area of the forest. So you can see to the left of the sun, you know, it was all tall ridge. The sun is so low in the southern sky this time of year, but you can see how it drops way down. And we got sunlight coming up ahead here with a couple more campsites on the Gaia app. So hopefully we can find something here soon. I'm only 5 miles in on the Middle Fork Trail of the 9, so making good progress. Wow, check that out. It's a huge slab of rock. It's probably normally flowing with water, but the water's so low. It's only coming through in that spot and one little spot across from it. And there's a great campsite over there. It's got sunlight too. We got 2 more up ahead here. Hopefully one of them will work. I found a nice campfire ring with sun. The water's just over the hill there. Not really any good spot for tents except maybe right there. It's only 3:20. Got another site in about a half mile. I say we go for it. All right, 3:30. 6 miles in. There's a beautiful campsite right there. I think I'm gonna take it. I'm just about to the turnoff. Oh, probably less than a half mile ahead. There is one more campsite at the split with Laurely Branch or whatever it's called, but I don't know if there's water access there. I just don't know if I should risk it. It's gonna be dark in 2 hours. I think we better go take that site. All right, I can't stand not knowing what's up ahead. There's another site in a quarter mile where the turnoff is. I gotta know if it's better. If it's not, we'll come right back to this one. Actually, I just found another one right here. Actually, this could work. I mean, the water access is a little more difficult. Man, check out that waterfall across the river. Right there. Wow. What a cool area. There's another waterfall right back there. All right, let's go check out this other site. And if it stinks, we're coming right back to this spot. This place is pretty nice. All right, we made it to the cutoff. It was almost a half mile further. So that way is just, what, 3 miles maybe back to my truck? Yeah, less than 3 miles. This way adds a couple more miles, Laurely Branch, and then jumps on Little Fork and kind of goes all the way around and eventually back to my truck. And here is the campsite. Let's go check it out. Definitely doesn't have that super easy water access. I mean, I can hear it right down there. It's only 40, 50 feet away. Yeah, I like this. This is home tonight. I wish I was over there in that sunlight. Oh, that'd be so nice. It looks like we have a little bit of firewood here. Let's get the camp set up. The one really good thing about this site, being at the cutoff of Laurely Branch, if I feel good in the morning and I get out at a decent time, I'm gonna go that way. There's about 1,000 feet of gain, so we're definitely gonna have some climbing. Or I can stay on the Middle Fork Trail, which continues right up to my truck, and basically no more gain. It's gonna be level or downhill all the way. We'll see how early I wake up and how I feel, then we'll make the decision then. Water source is only about 50 feet away. Pretty nice. Easy access. I'm actually kind of glad I'm not right beside it, because it can almost be too noisy to sleep. Up here the sound is drowned out just a little bit. So I was down below in the fire, and somehow a massive spark caught onto my cooey. I've got an inch hole in my cooey, and it went through my, this is my back, it went through my back and burnt. Burnt through both layers of my shirts, and I could feel the coal hitting my skin. I don't know how that happened. That's a first. I'd say the fire's going pretty good now. So this big log right here, I found a massive tree that had fallen over across the trail. And I was able to, it was cracked, so I was able to pry a big chunk of it off. That'll burn for quite a while. And then I can keep feeding it into the fire as it burns up. Enjoying some hot and sour soup for the main course. Peak Refuel beef stroganoff, quite possibly my all-time favorite freeze-dried meal. Really looking forward to having that. I've been saving it for a while, but we're going to eat it tonight. Well, another good day in the Crannberry Wilderness. so glad that I chose to take Big Beechy this morning, because if I had not taken that trail, I would have never seen any of those beautiful moss covered forest floor and rocks. It was just gorgeous. The rhododendron, the pines, and that moss, it made that trail so worthwhile. The only thing that made the middle fork really nice is walking by that beautiful river the entire time. Being able to see it most of the time and hear it constantly. But other than that river, the middle fork was just like walking in the woods in Ohio, Kentucky, pretty much. But yeah, a great second day here in the Crannberry Wilderness, and I think I'm going to take the long way out tomorrow down Laurely Branch, and then on to Little Fork, back up to my truck. It's going to be about 8 miles instead of about 3.5 if I just continued on the Middle Fork. So that's the plan right now. We'll see how I feel in the morning. Just going to sit back and relax and enjoy this lovely fire. See you in the morning. I have an Esbeck cube here I want to get rid of, so I'm going to try to light it. It's not lighting very good. There it goes. I still have some coals down there from last night's fire. Not much. Careful not to put it out. There was another coal one last night. Lower 30s. Good morning. Day 3 here in the Crannberry Wilderness. If I stay on the Middle Fork Trail, I have about 3 or 4 miles back to my truck, or I go 8 miles down Laurely Branch and get a hop on a little bit of the north-south trail for about 1.5 miles, and then 3.5 miles on the Little Fork Trail. So by adding 3 miles to my walk today, maybe 4, I'll be seeing 3 new trails. So that's what I've decided to do. Yeah, 3 new trails versus same old, and no new trails. It's a no-brainer. Man, I really love being out in the woods before the sun comes up. Having a little fire, enjoying my coffee as the day is beginning. There's not a sound out here except for the rushing water down below. And it looks like we're going to have another beautiful day. Clear skies. The sun's going to be popping up over that ridge here shortly. But this is my favorite time of the day. I wish it was a little bit warmer. That's the only thing. 40s or 50s is what I prefer, but this ain't bad. Pretty amazing view from up here on Laurely Branch. Look at that massive mountain with the sun on it. It's gorgeous. Unfortunately, I'm running out of SD card space, so I'm not going to be able to film very much more. I got like 4 minutes left on this one and 4 minutes on another one. So I'm just going to catch the highlights on this final 7 miles and some closing comments at the end. It's shaping up to be another beautiful day. Well, we've climbed about 1,000 feet on Laurely Branch. Just wanted to give you an idea of the scope of this vast wilderness. Check that out up there. Reminds me of Red River Gorge a little bit. That'd be so awesome to go up there. There's no trail on my apps showing it. That is up there. It's been an easy climb. Gradual switchbacks the entire way. Hey, there's that sunshine. Boy, the vastness of this place is incredible. You're definitely out in the middle of nowhere, and you feel that way too. Not a sound. Just rushing water. I think this is the only campsite on Laurely Branch. Not bad. And it's got a water source right down there 50 feet away. All right, 3.5 miles later, we finally made it to the top of this beast. Wow, it was uphill the entire way. If I turn left, heads down to the north-south trail. And there's actually a decent campsite right here, a dry campsite. I'm turning right for about 1.5 miles on the north-south trail, and then a right turn on Little Fork, and that'll take me up to my truck. So 1.5 miles on north-south, and then about 3.5 miles on Little Fork, and it'll be over. Just made it to the junction of the north-south trail, which continues on that way, and Little Fork Trail, which goes to my truck. The sign has fallen down. Not much of a trail. That's the trail. You can't even see it, it's non-existent. I've pretty much been bushwhacking for the last half hour anyway. What's a little bit more? Well, I decided to sit down and take a quick break because I got to charge my cell phone. Had to get it out of my pack. I would never recommend taking the Little Fork or the north-south trail from Laurely Branch to Little Fork without a GPS. A map's not good enough. I've lost the trail 2 or 3 times and relied on my GPS to get back on trail. It is a bushwhack, a very, very faint trail bed. But with the leaf cover, it makes it even more difficult to see. Little Fork has been quite a bushwhack, but as you can see right here, there are some spots that are pretty open and easy to navigate through. This is probably some of the best of the trail right here. But it's definitely not all like this, so keep that in mind. There is very little traffic that comes through the Little Fork. I haven't been able to get my drone out at all because I'm being completely under tree cover the entire time. And if I would have lost it, I would have never been able to recover it with all these huge mountains and ravines. Down to our final mile here on the Little Fork Trail, back to my truck. Walking along this beautiful river the entire time. Well, not the entire time, but for the last half mile. But I could hear it for quite some time. I'm assuming it's the Little Fork, since we're on the Little Fork Trail. It flows into the bigger river. It might be the Crannberry or whatever name it is. I'll throw the right name up on the screen right now. But there's a great big river down there at that little campground where I parked my truck. And I'm assuming a lot of these mountain streams flow into that bigger river. Okay, I just popped out of the woods to this big river. And I'm not sure where to cross. I have to pull the GPS out and figure this out. Looks like I might be getting my feet wet here for the first time on this entire trip. Okay, I crossed right where I was standing. There's the trail, right there. Aha, I won't be getting my feet wet after all. I found me a nice log crossing. We made it. There's my truck. Feels good to be back. High noon. 4 hours of hiking today. Not too bad. All right, I made it back to my truck safe and sound. What a fantastic trip here in the Crannberry Wilderness. It's been on my radar for several years, and so glad I finally made it down here to get in about a 26-mile loop. I had perfect weather the entire time, and I'm glad it was a little bit on the dry side. I don't know if I'd want to come hiking here if it was a wet season or if there had been some heavy recent rains. So if you plan on coming down here to do some hiking, be prepared to get wet feet. I was able to keep my feet dry the entire time, but it's because this whole entire region is in a drought. So all the water levels are down. There was still a lot of wet, sticky spots I had to navigate around on many of the trails. But yeah, if it was a normal year, I would have been soaked the entire time. So keep that in mind. So the route that I ended up taking was Big Beechy. It starts right over here. And I would highly recommend Big Beechy. If you skip that one, you're going to be missing out on that quintessential mossy evergreens, just what you see on other videos and online of what the Crannberry Wilderness looks like. The first 3 miles was a pretty steep climb out of this parking lot, but then once up on top of the ridge, it was just drop dead gorgeous and was my favorite section by far on the whole 26 miles. After Big Beechy, I hopped on the Middle Fork Trail on the east side, and it was all downhill. So keep that in mind if you want to hike the Middle Fork Trail. Unless you want to hike 6 miles uphill, I would recommend starting on the east and hiking to the west. And you're hiking along the Middle Fork River the entire time. It is beautiful, rushing water sounds, and probably 7, 8, 9 campsites along the way that were all really nice. After the Middle Fork, I hopped on Laurely Branch, and that was about a 1,000-foot climb over about 3.5 miles. A lot of little wet spots that I had to navigate around. And then I hopped on the north-south trail, and that's where the trail became almost non-existent. I had to pull out my GPS several times to see where I was at because I got off trail. There's a faint trail bed, but a lot of stuff growing into the trail bed and on the trail bed. After that, I was only on that for maybe 2 miles, and then I hopped on Little Fork, and that brought me back to my truck, completing the loop. I was on the Little Fork for about 3.5 miles. And that trail, I would say about 75% is very faint and hard to navigate. So highly recommend having a GPS with you in addition to paper maps. Definitely bring your trekking poles. If I would have forgot those, it would have been horrible trying to navigate my way across the many stream crossings. In addition to many of the trails being hard to navigate, there's no blazes. Maybe some of the other trails that I was not on have blazes, but the sections that I did, not one blaze the entire time. So that's why it's very important to have maps and a GPS app with you, like All Trails or the REI Hiking Project or Gaia, which is what I use. It was very quiet out there. I never heard anything other than the rushing water. I didn't hear or see any deer, birds, or squirrels. So it was just dead calm the entire time, other than a slight breeze from time to time and of course the rushing water. So if you're looking for solitude and quiet, the Crannberry Wilderness is where it's at. So when I was researching the Crannberry Wilderness, I was envisioning the moss-covered ground, the evergreens, and I didn't see a lot of that until I got to the top of Big Beechy. So maybe there's other sections in the Crannberry Wilderness that look like that, but on the 26 miles that I took, the only place I saw that was along the top of Big Beechy, and even all the way until you start to descend back down towards the trailheads, the Big Beechy trailhead on the east side. So the hiking was very similar to hiking in sections of Pennsylvania and Kentucky, and even parts of the Foothills Trail in South Carolina. A lot of similarities to those trails. Alrighty folks, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming along. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you again real soon on the next adventure.